Hello, folks. Pastor Rocky Branch. Hope you're doing great today. You know, my heart's heavy this morning, and I trust yours probably is also, for the disaster that we've seen by the East Coast storm and the snowstorms that have come across the Appalachian Mountains and all up in West Virginia. You know, we as a people are to pull together in times of tragedy. Now, what I want to say to you today is very important because you may not think that your prayers make a lot of difference. You might have the mindset, well, I don't know those folks, I'm not around those folks, and me and my family, we're okay. But I want to tell you that your prayers make a great deal of difference. Your faithfulness to come before the Lord matters a great deal. You know, one of the things that really burdens me about this whole storm situation is sometimes the attitude that people take toward it. You know, we have everybody coming out saying, well, God's judging New York or Atlantic City or Washington or West Virginia or whatever else, and that's why this is happening. Well, I don't necessarily think that's true at all. I think God's been trying to get our attention a long time. I think that natural things happen, natural disasters occur because of what the world's doing, because of how the atmosphere is. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. If God were to judge wickedness, we'd have been dead a long time ago. I think our responsibility, however, is to pray and to reach out in our hearts and try to find the compassion necessary to get some prayers through on behalf of these folks. You know, one of the things that really is close to my heart is the homeless people. There's a lot of people up in this area that, well, they have nowhere to go. When that storm came through, they had nowhere to go. And what a tragic thing that is. I want you to think with me for a minute. And I want to turn your mind away from maybe some of the things that you've thought about or maybe some of the things that you've heard. And I want you to get real with me for just a minute. When you see a homeless person, when you see someone on the street, whatever the case may be, well, they're probably there for some decisions they made, no doubt about it. They might have not taken care of themselves. They might have not been proactive in some areas, no doubt about it. But this is what I want you to think about with me. I want you to think about that somewhere down the line, might have been 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 70 years ago, I don't know, however old the person is. But at some point, they were a baby. At some point, somebody held them in their arms, just like maybe you held your kids or your parents held you. No one ever expected to be in that situation. Just like our beloved folks in the nursing facilities. I mean, at one time they could run through the field, they could jump the fence. Now they don't even have the strength to shut the gate. You see, we are going to be in a tragic, challenging situation at some point. We need to have mercy for others as we also desire mercy. It's very easy to judge. It's very easy to point fingers. But the heart of God, the mind of God, the Bible says in the first sermon that Jesus ever preached, if you want mercy, you must give mercy. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Now, I don't know of anyone that doesn't need mercy. So let me encourage you to spend some time in sincere prayer. Not just saying, well, God bless them, but just spend some time. You know, when we pray for ourselves or our family members intimately, we obviously pray a different sort of way than when we pray for the missionaries or we pray for the folks in the world or we pray for people like up in the East Coast that has suffered this storm. Well, we don't know them, so we shouldn't pray as much. But really and truly, if our hearts are right before God, our prayers should be sincere and they should be earnest. And I pray today that you'll consider that because only by the grace of God that storm didn't come our way. And maybe I'm talking to somebody that it did come your way. But what I want to tell you is that God is able to help us in any way. But He needs His people that are called by His name to humble themselves and pray. And God can bless you for it. And He'll bless your prayers because they will go a long way when you mean what you pray. But let me remind you of two things quickly as I close. Number one, this. You cannot come before God with unclean hands. If your hands are unclean, God will not hear you pray, which means your heart, your life needs to be clean. Secondly, you must be earnest. If you don't believe what you pray, it won't matter anyway. So I trust you will come to God with sincerity, and you'll come to God with cleanliness, and God will answer your prayer. A lot of people depend on it. You may never know it till you get to glory, but a lot of people will be blessed by your fervent prayer. Remember, the fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. God will bless you for it. We love you. God bless you, and goodbye.